Hey, what's going on up front? We are starting a brand new series today, and I am really excited to share it with you because as we move into summer vacation, we're going to be talking all about freedom. Now, when you think of freedom, what comes to mind? For me, freedom means like summer break, summer vacation. It means that I don't have to worry about doing any kind of work. I don't have any responsibilities. I can just sit by the pool, go on vacation, go to the beach, and just relax and hang out with my friends, doing all the things that, I just wanted to do. But during the school year, you just can't do it as much as you want to. So to me, that is what freedom means. And it might mean a similar thing to you. And no matter what you think of freedom, there are two things that we know to be true about freedom. And that is freedom is good. I think we can all agree that freedom is really good. Freedom is good, and that freedom is something that we all want. I mean, I can't think of anyone that I have ever met that didn't want some degree of freedom. Even like the hall monitor type people, even the people that are like Boy Scouts, Girl Scouts, and they love the rules, even they like a little bit of freedom. We all love freedom. But when it comes to church, and when it comes to growing up in church like I did, or maybe like you did, it can be very easy to look at God and look at church and look at the Bible and see just a bunch of rules that we have to follow. For me, it was like, the 10 Commandments were posted everywhere, and it was full of thou shalt and thou shalt nots. And I'm sure you've seen plenty of that kind of stuff. And maybe even your parents were like super strict on you with thou shalt and thou shalt nots. And we kind of got this idea in our heads that God is all about the rules, and that the rules are keeping us from what we actually want, which is freedom. That God is just this like cosmic fun sucker. He sucks the joy, he sucks the fun out of everything that we're trying to do. Everything that we want to do, it seems like there's a rule in the Bible or a rule that is just completely against it, that keeps us from doing what we want to do. But here's a question that I've thought about before. If we all want freedom, and if freedom really is good, then why would God want to keep us from it? If God really made all of us in his image, like he said that he did, then why do all of us have this desire for freedom inside of us? Have you ever wondered that before? The answer to that question, like why would God put a desire for freedom in us if he didn't want us to have freedom? That question to me is answered by the Apostle Paul in one of his letters. So he wrote a letter to a church 2,000 years ago, a church in Galatia. And it's a book in the Bible, it's called Galatians. So when we read this, it's kind of like reading somebody else's mail. It's not directly addressed to us, but we can really learn some things from it. It's beneficial to us. So here is what he says in chapter 5, verse 1. He says, "So Christ has truly set us free. Now make sure that you stay free and don't get tied up again in slavery to the law." Now, just reading that, to me, that seems very, very different from like our traditional ideas of what it means to be a follower of Jesus, what it means to believe in the Bible and go to church, right? He's saying that Christ has truly set us free and not to get tied up in slavery to the law. Now, the law that Paul is talking about here is the ancient Jewish law. See, there was some tension going on in the church of Galatia. A lot of people that decided to believe in Jesus, especially at this church, they used to be part of the Jewish faith, which is, it was God's people, the Jews, the Israelites. And God gave his people a big set of laws called the Law of Moses. And in those laws, there's laws for everything, but it was intended to keep his people separate from the rest of the world. But when Jesus came, he gave us a new law. He gave us a new covenant. And that is what Paul is saying here. Jesus has set us free from the old laws, not to do away with them completely, but he fulfilled them to give us freedom. So imagine that for a second. We tend to think that our standing with God, our rightness with God, whether or not we're in or we're out with God, is based on our performance. And it's based on like, how well am I doing? Am I lying? Am I cheating? Like, am I being a good person? Am I being a bad person? Paul is saying here that Christ has set us free from that. Because of Jesus, we don't have to worry about our performance anymore. All we have to do is have faith in him, because no one is perfect. And true freedom is found in Jesus and the way that he was perfect and fulfilled the law for us. So, to me, here's how I could sum it all up. Freedom is found in faith. Faith is all about freedom. And the freedom that Jesus has for us, the freedom that God has in mind for us, he put that desire in us. It's true. Paul is saying that right there. But we have to change our perspective in the way that we look at freedom. Because yes, God still has rules. God has a way of life that is best for us. So when we believe that, and when we believe in Jesus and start to follow him, then we live our lives that way. And it really isn't keeping us from anything that's good. It's everything that is good. So when we look at freedom and when we think about freedom, to me, it becomes more of what is God freeing us from, as opposed to what is he letting us do. So not everything that we want to do, and I think you can agree, not everything that we want to do is actually good for us. And God knows that. And that's why he's given us ways to do life and ways to follow him. There's a better way. There is a best way. And Jesus came to show us that way. So when we put our faith in Jesus and we have freedom in him, we're free from all the things that we want to do wrong. We're free from sin. We're free from death. We're free from our mistakes and guilt and shame. And we're free to make the choice to follow Jesus into that better way of living, to get eternal life and to get better life. So when we think about freedom and when we think about faith, I challenge you to think this way. Faith is about freedom. Faith is freedom. It's freedom from all the bad stuff, and it's freedom to choose what is good. It's freedom to choose what is best for you and what God has in mind for you. See you guys next week.